Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Beecast. Very difficult to say, so to say. And we are in beautiful Bologna, and we actually just have had our big annual meeting within the Beegards, where we are discussing, meeting, we are networking, and we're really kind of improving the project. And I take the opportunity, like now, I'm together with you, Dylan. We're sitting on a wine bar.
Amazing, isn't it?
Amazing, and we try to make this interview with you because it's not easy for me to make interviews while we have our workshops and when we are working and people are tired and so I have to kind of pick the people and take them to nice places and so on. So Dylan, we're sitting here now today, you and I, on a wine bar, and we actually also have a glass of wine. And tell me, who are you?
Well, I'm Dylan. I'm from Belgium.
Yes.
And I'm here in Beegards as a representative and a participant from zwartebij.org, which is a Belgian beekeeping association, which tries to preserve the local endemic Apis mellifera.
So
the
black
black
call
bee.
it the Black Bee Beekeeper Association. So
Yes,
to say,
exactly.
Okay. And what are your activities there in this association? I want to make a profile. What you actually are doing in your, so to say, real lives.
Yeah, well, so I actually founded the association almost 10 years ago.
Yes.
And over those years, we built it up, kind of everything. So, well, in the beginning, obviously, there was nothing. Right now, we have 2 breeding programs.
Yes.
We have mating stations, which we run. We also have like an educational program, so people who want to learn to keep bees, they can enroll in the educational programs, or beekeepers who want to learn how to do the queen rearing, they also can enroll in educational programs. And on top of that, we also participate and run our own, let's say, scientific projects. So at the moment we have a scientific project running about a Darwinian black box beekeeping, and also one on, let's say, testing out the introgression levels, the genetic purity, let's say, of our stocks.
Oh, that's really nice, because when you're doing this Darwinian black box, that's actually what our partner consortium are doing there.
I know.
So you without knowing that, you could say that you are connecting the 2 consortiums together with each other. That's the Better Bee project, I have to say.
Well, it's God knows, of course, but the fact is, we started with the Darwinian black box project before the other partner, let's say, came up with the idea.
Yes.
So maybe they stole it from us.
Who
knows?
Yeah. But sometimes you should. I mean, in my life, I'm very happy if I come out and meet some beekeepers and they start explaining me what I have been explaining them years ago. But anyway, so it's conserving the black bees that you're working on there. And how big is the black bee population in Belgium, so to say? Do we talk about a few hundred, or do we talk about thousands? Or
Well, it's hard to say exactly, of course.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, so we have in Belgium we have 2 different black bee associations. We have one in the French-speaking part and one in the Flemish-speaking part.
We have to admit your country has a little bit out of category.
It's a little bit different and
but it's a
difficult
country,
as well.
So.
Well, we have nice regions.
Yeah.
But so I would say that the French-speaking association, from which we also got our stock to begin with, I would say that they more or less have a population of about 300, 400 colonies.
Yes.
With our association, which then is active in Flanders and also in the Netherlands, I guess our population size, taking all of them together, the breeding stock and also the black box stock, that would be around 200 colonies, more or less.
But I really like your approach, because this is the hot thing those years here, that we should stick to the local bee races. So
exactly.
To say, because we need this gene pool to conserve genes for future disasters,
and
so to say.
For me, it was for me it has multiple reasons why personally I chose for the dark bee. The first reason, of course, is because I'm a conservationist. I'm a conservationist, so for me it was like the the most logical thing to do to keep Apis mellifera living in Belgium.
Yeah.
The second thing is I'm a lazy beekeeper.
Okay.
I mean, I do pollination, I do queen rearing, kinds of stuff, but still I'm a lazy beekeeper. And so what I like most about Apis mellifera is that the black bee is really, it's quite resilient and it's ideal for extensive beekeeping. So I started out with Carnica bees, because at that moment you only had the choice between Carnica and Buckfast in the north of Belgium. And later on, I switched to mellifera, and then I noticed, oh man, they don't need me as much as the Carnica bees do. Because with the Corniolan stock, when it's good weather in spring, you have to be there very quickly to avoid swarming and stuff. If it's bad weather in spring, then you have to be there to feed them, to prevent them from starving. And the mellifera, they don't need me at all. So they're really good at taking care of themselves.
Because they have been under those weather conditions for
thousands of years.
I didn't dare to say millions, but yeah.
And what's also interesting, specifically now that it's interesting already for varroa, but what's even more interesting in terms of, let's say, the current threat of Tropilailaps, is that in our conditions, the Apis mellifera is the only one which still has like a natural brood break in winter.
Yes.
So whilst the Corniolan stock and the Buckfast stock, they just keep on having broods during all of winter, the mellifera still...
And that's why the food consumption is relatively low.
Exactly.
So to say,
exactly. With, let's say, 8 to 10 kilograms is plenty for a mellifera colony to go through winter.
And what I have, I've been traveling a lot over the world, and I was in Scotland some years ago. And there I was meeting some black beekeepers, actually a black beekeeper having 3,000 colonies. And I was standing there as, I'm a Buckfast beekeeper. That's what I have there where I'm living. And I said to that beekeeper, that colony, you will not get any honey from that. It was a small, we were there, I don't remember, let's say May or something like that. And the colony was really not big. And then he looked on me and he said, that colony there is going to give me 50 kilo of heather honey. And that was because I did not know the type of the bee that he has, and they have been living with that for a very, very, very long time. And the other thing, just to tell the story, was that we were lots of Buckfast breeders, and then we said to that guy, hey, we will send you a few Buckfast because that's really going to be very good. And then the father, he said to us, listen, those bees, they have feeded my grandfather, my grandfather, my father, me, and they are also going to feed my son. I'm not using your bees. That was really, very impressive kind of in my life to hear people like that, because I had the wrong impression about the black bee. You know that in Denmark we have a small population of those black bees, and I've actually been working with them. Yeah, sorry, it's your interview.
No, to me, it's not really an interview. It's just a nice conversation amongst friends. But what you just said, it's something I encountered so many times over the past years working with black bees. So let's say my personal apiary, I have about 120 colonies. Most of them are black bees. I also teach beekeeping, so therefore I also have Carnica and Buckfast bees to make clear to the pupils the differences between these races. And at the end, they all wisely choose for Apis mellifera, of course.
Already now you have started the big discussion in the comments field that we have on our podcast.
Exactly.
Probably there will be people telling you something.
For sure.
But who cares?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, the funny thing is, when I started up the association, plenty of beekeepers, they were like, this is never going to work. We are like a Carnica region. Do you really think you're going to manage setting up a mellifera breeding association? But I was like, I don't give shit about what people think. Let's just give it a try and we'll see. And what we noticed is that over the past years, so many beekeepers, and especially younger beekeepers, newer beekeepers, they nowadays start beekeeping not for really getting so much honey, but just for the
Other
sake
reasons.
of ecological reasons, conservation, and then it's quite simple that they end up with dart bees. Also, lots of, let's say, the younger beekeepers, they are so, I mean, their agenda is so packed, is so stuffed because of work, because of children, family issues, whatever. So then again, it's so much easier to keep bees in an extensive way. Again, dart bees.
So we're talking about small beekeepers, so to say.
Most of them are
3
hobbyists.
or 5 or 10 colonies. Or
Most of them are
something.
hobbyists. I would say the average beekeeper in Belgium has like 6 to 10 colonies, more or less.
So let's just, I mean, you don't have to explain it in details, but let's run over the year. What are actually your activities in the bee colonies to keep them running for a year? Yeah, just some headlines. So that we can compare us that don't have the black bees.
Yeah, sure. Well, I would say that end of March, beginning of April, I do like a spring inspection.
Yes.
The spring inspection, actually, it's something I do it very fast. Is it still alive or not?
Yes.
And if it's still alive, then I quickly check how many frames or how many seams actually are, let's say, occupied with bees. If that's more than half, then I add a small super. My supers are like half the size of the brood boxes. Yes. So I add half a super, which is already built out, and then I leave the colony for like 4 to 5 weeks.
Yes.
So then we are somewhere, let's say, end of April, more or less. Yeah. And end of April, I go back and then I'll check again. Because with the Carnica, I'm used that at that stage, there probably already is like swarming tendency. Yeah. With the mellifera, that's mostly fine. You might have some colonies which already started building queen cells, but more or less it's fine. So end of April, I go back and then I add another super. So in my apiary, I always keep the, let's say, I always keep the queen, I always keep the brood nest on one box. And to give you an idea, the brood box I have, or the brood frame, that's like Deutsches Normalmaß. So it's comparable to, I would say, British National, for those listening from the UK.
I mean, it's a disaster with all those different frames.
It is a mess, isn't it? It is a mess. I also sell bee colonies. And so I started up with getting more and more and more hive types and frame sizes, because, well, like we say in Belgium, the client is the king. So if he asks this frame size, we deliver that frame size. Yes. But I ended up with so many frame sizes, I get headaches from it.
Okay. So they're slowly filling up then.
Yeah, so they're filling up the supers, and this is what I learned over the years. Is so dart bees, they overwinter in relatively small colonies. Yeah. So if you want to have spring honey from them, like dandelion, blossom honey, then you have to add early in spring small supers which have already been built out.
Yes.
And then it's perfectly possible to have spring honey from them. For sure, it's not as much as from Carniolan hives or buckfast hives, but that's also something which I don't not really care about, because for me, I enjoy much more. I mean, I also hate honey harvesting. I think it's one of the worst things to do as a beekeeper. Absolutely. But what I also noted is like my clientele, so my clients who buy the honey, let's say, they are willing to pay me a higher price for the honey.
Because it's from the black bees.
Yes, exactly. Because it's from the black bees.
So now this is what I call, this is experience economy or something like that. The storytelling.
Exactly. It's like, and it's also what I told other colleagues of mine to do who are still having Carnica and mellifera in the meantime. Then I asked them, okay, you now have these two types of honey. Both your races have been standing in the same apiary, but keep the honey separate.
Yeah.
And then ask your clients, what jar do you prefer?
Then they take
Even if it's for the same price, what jar do you prefer?
they take the story.
And tell the story. And then all of them, they just go for the jar which comes from the dark bees. And I started doing that, and then I was starting to ask, okay, are you prepared to pay even more for that jar? Just for the sake of supporting the local bee?
Yes.
And majority said, yeah, for sure. So I don't care that they produce less honey.
If you get the double price, so to say.
Well, it's not double, but it's a very good price.
It's more money, yeah.
It's a very good price.
Okay, we made a sideline now here. We are still taking care of the bees in the summer.
So I'm still taking care of the bees. And the thing is, so when I notice when there would be, let's say, swarm tendency. Yeah. So let's say I try to avoid swarm tendency. So what I do in advance is when I get the idea that the colony is getting strong enough to may start building swarm cells, what I actually do is I make like how you say that in English? In German it's like a Sammelbrutableger.
Okay. So you take brood frames from several bee colonies and put them together.
Yes, exactly.
In a new nuke, so to say.
Exactly. So I would take like 1 or 2 frames of sealed brood from each colony, depending on how strong they are, and in that way I weaken that colony so that there would be no swarm tendency anymore. And the brood which I collected, I used that new colony actually to raise queens in. And that's how I prevent the swarm tendency during the season. And all the rest I do is actually just adding supers. That's the only thing I do. Till, let's say, end of June, beginning of July. And what I then do is actually kind of the innovative method, which I also use within the Whoopee one. And that's when I do my total brood removal.
Okay. So that's something relatively new. Or have you done that for many years?
Well, personally, I already performed a total brood removal for, I think, 6 years now.
Yeah.
So to me personally, it's not that new anymore. But at least I know it's very efficient.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take away. I told you that the queen, the brood chamber, the brood nest is only on one brood box only. So what I then do is I take away actually the whole brood box, and I put a new brood box on the floor. Yeah. And the new brood box, it's filled with frames with wax comb.
Yes.
So the bees will have to build everything from zero again.
Yes.
So what I then do is I take the old brood box, I look for the queen, and I put the queen, so I shake the frame off with the queen and some extra frames, so there are like plenty of young bees. And I put those bees and the queen back in the original box.
Yes.
So the foraging bees, they also fly back to that one. And the supers are still on there as well. So because there is no brood to take care of at that moment,
they start collecting more honey.
Exactly.
Yeah. They don't have to take care of the brood.
Exactly. And that's also why there is, it works so well. There is a good forage at that time of the year.
Tell me, what months are we in approximately?
So at that time, it's like end of June, beginning of July.
Yes.
So that means that the lime trees, Tilia species, that they will slow down in producing honey, but that the sweet chestnut, so the Castanea sativa, that one will start to produce lots of nectar over there. And for that reason, it's perfect to do this at my apiary, because this nectar flow will also make the bees easily build out the wax comb, because they get wax foundation.
Yes.
And the brood removal, that's the only thing I do. So at that moment, the colony is broodless. So there's no
oxalic acid trickling? Nothing?
No,
that's
not
the
at all.
thing.
The only thing is taking away the brood.
And not putting in a open frame kind of way?
No, not at all.
That's okay?
Not at all. There is this variation where you can also treat with oxalic acid, but for sure I still have my supers on at that moment because there still is a massive honey flow. So you shouldn't treat, and I also don't treat afterwards. So I just take away the brood box with the brood, leaving the queen and some young bees behind with all the foraging bees. For me, so after the let's say after the flow from the sweet chestnut, I take away the supers, and I have a colony which can start to prepare for winter in a brood box with fully freshly built out comb.
Yes.
Which is, let's say, it's not free from varroa, but it almost does not have varroa anymore because that was taken away with a sealed brood.
Yes.
And last but not least, it already has very good honey reserves in that brood nest.
Yeah, they do.
From the lime trees, from the sweet chestnut, and later on they still add some from the heather, from the Calluna vulgaris. So I also don't have to feed these colonies anymore. For me, it's very extensive. It's ideal because I have a full-time job next to the bees. So otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. Now, let's come back to the brood, which I took away.
Exactly. I want to know what do you do with the brood?
Yeah. Well, so what I do with the brood, it's like, so I take the brood boxes away and I put them in another apiary.
Yes.
Another apiary some kilometers away. Over there, after 9 days, I break the emergency queen cells. And then I let the boxes just leave them for another 2 weeks to be sure that all the brood has been born, has hatched. When that has happened, I go back to that apiary with, in my pocket, a bunch of queen cages with young mated queens. And so what I do is, then I do treat with oxalic acid.
Aha.
Yes. Then I do treat with oxalic acid.
Kind of cleaning up, so to say.
Exactly. Yeah. So I take out, I have another box with me, another brood chamber, which is filled with, let's say, 5 or 6 frames, again, with wax foundation. And so I take out the frames from the old colonies, let's say. I spray oxalic acid solution over the bees, and then I just put the bees. So I shake the bees off the frame into the new box with the wax foundation. Yeah. After that, I add the queen, so the new queen, some sugar syrup, because at that moment the forage mostly is not enough anymore. So I just put sugar syrup on it, and that's it. And again, these colonies, with a new freshly mated queen, they go into winter with a brood nest which is fully freshly built up at that moment. Yep. That also means that I have a lot of beeswax, which I have to recover for sure. But I really like this approach also because at any moment beekeepers can visit my apiaries, and the chances that I draw out an old dark black frame are nearly zero. Because also, I mean, for other beekeepers, but especially also for, let's say, for people who buy honey, it doesn't show good when you have like these dark black frames. And I don't like it myself, also because you have bacteria and stuff building up. It's not nice, and it's not healthy for the bees.
Okay, wow. I ask you, tell me how you're running your bees, and then a beekeeper, he can talk 5 hours, but I like your system. And it's simple, and this is really, I could really recommend beekeepers try to write down how you're running your beekeeping every year, because too many beekeepers are kind of more, they're doing what I call surprise beekeeping. They go out to the box, oh, they are in swarming condition. Instead of being in front of them, many beekeepers are behind the bee colonies. So now let's get to the project.
Exactly.
The innovative varroa treatment, and you have an apiary. Tell us about that apiary. How many bee colonies do you have in the apiary?
Okay, so originally we planned to have 32 colonies in the experimental apiary. However, later on we decided to only have 20. The simple reason for that was that, we had to build up this experimental apiary in, this year, 2024. But this year, we've had the worst weather
Okay.
I ever could imagine. So we had very poor results for queen matings and stuff, which meant that after all, I said, okay, let's do 20. That will already be a miracle. I mean, we succeeded at 20. It's the apiary. So the apiary is located at the Abbey of Averbode. You must visit me when you have the opportunity.
So it's for me as an ignorant, it's close to Brussels. 45 minutes, you told me. I think.
45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have very good beers, so it's never too far away from Brussels.
Never a waste of time to visit Belgium.
Exactly.
Never. So what are you? I mean, this project is running over several years, and everybody knows it's difficult to establish a new apiary, and the ambition on the number of bee colonies is in my life pretty high. And so I mean, you will just be there next year and the year again, and then you're in with the number of colonies. Are you planning to stay on 20?
From the beginning, we plan to stay on 20. As from the beginning onwards, they said, okay, let's do 32 or 20.
Okay.
Now the choice was free.
That was free.
At least 20, preferentially 32. But I mean, the colleagues from Croatia have like even more colonies. But that's a different region, better climate, I'd say. So we will stick with 20. And so far, I mean, touch wood. But so far, all 20 colonies, they are really alive and kicking.
Good shape,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, tell me a bit. Is it wooden boxes? Is it styrofoam boxes?
So at this apiary, I work with the Segeberger hives.
the German, yes.
So it's like a German polystyrofoam
box,
hive, yeah.
It's a nice box.
Well, I mean, like every box, it's not perfect.
Tell me where we find the perfect box.
We're
not going to discuss that now.
I haven't found it yet, but it's not perfect. But I think it's quite a good box, yeah. And also for those having mellifera bees, dark bees, the styrofoam, so the insulation capability of the styrofoam boxes, it really helps develop the dark bee colonies better in spring. Yeah. I'm not saying it's necessary, but I do notice that they develop better in spring in the styrofoam boxes.
Okay, that was about the test apiary, and we talked earlier because, of course, we prepared this interview, this talk. You really want to encourage other people to take part. Tell me a little about that, citizen scientist, as we call it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I really love the ideas built up within this project. But as a beekeeper myself, and with a background as let's say as well a bee scientist, but also let's say a guy from a beekeeping association, I really always say it's so important that let's say what we do as scientists, it needs to reach the beekeepers.
Exactly.
And what better to do that than with citizen science and getting beekeepers involved in the project. So therefore, what we're doing, what I'm doing this week is translating one of the articles from Bee Guards into Dutch.
Yes.
And I might also give it a try to translate it into French, because, we're a difficult country. But I mean, the Dutch or Flemish translation is almost ready, and that will go into the Flemish, and we'll try also the Dutch beekeeping magazines, explaining what Bee Guards is about, and specifically getting into the topic of Whoopie 1, which is about the conventional and innovative management style. So the idea is, what we'll do right now, we're preparing the articles, which then will be published in, let's say, February, March, in the beekeeping magazines. And then I know we do the innovative treatment. That's only for summer. But beginning of May already, I will give several demonstrations.
Cool.
So
kind of open apiary days.
Exactly. So at the in the magazines, in the articles for the beekeeping magazines, There will be multiple links to Bee Guards, but also links to our website from our association, wherein the beekeepers can register to join the open days of the apiary. And we will do that in May, specifically beginning of May, half of May, so that the beekeepers well in advance will have seen the different innovative methods. Because personally, I prefer the total brood removal, as I also find it the most efficient way. Exactly. But that's a personal choice, of course. So I will, for others who might be more interested in those ones, I will also demonstrate the queen caging system, because maybe for them that works better.
So that's great. Thanks a lot. This is really cool. And it's also cool what you're doing and trying to involve the local beekeepers and people. I really suggest people to follow us on our social media, Bee Guards on Facebook, Bee Guards on Instagram. We also have a nice homepage where we have a blog where people they can follow us. And then, of course, what we're trying to do, totally new, we are making this podcast. Please join the podcast and listen to all the other ones, which is a conversation, a cozy conversation between two people that are kind of involved in the project.
I mean, of course, you just said it was kind of prepared, but to be honest, this was not prepared at all. This was just a very spontaneous conversation.
Exactly. Dylan, and I'm so happy because we're sitting on the wine bar, and I was so scared that 6 or 7 noisy people would come in.
Yeah.
But we actually had the wine bar more or less for ourselves, so I hope the sound will be good afterwards. And so thanks a lot, and let's talk again, maybe in a year or maybe 2. How is it going there? Thanks a lot.
We'll do that. Yes. Thank you.
See you.